It's time. Prepare for the 2023 Prophetic Revival going on Sunday, February 19th through Friday, February the 24th with guest speakers, Prophetess Ruth Washington from Jacksonville, Florida.
God has made a declaration over your life and they can't kill your promise.
Prophet Kervin Diondene from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
You will live and not die. And Tom said, I will make your next great. And God never can bring you down.
Prophetess Shay Hall Green from Brunswick, Georgia.
Whenever you get knowledge, what happens is now that thing makes room for you. Somebody say, make room for me.
And Prophetess Samantha Bynum from Chicago, Illinois.
That was the moment he began to dance because the ark was coming back. He began to dance because the glory was coming home. He began to dance, my God, in celebration.
The theme is prophetic glory, and the experience will be life-changing. Admission is free, so make plans to join us February 19th through the 24th. Whatever you need from God, it's in the glory.
The Lord your God. Do not fear the gods of the Amorites in whose land you dwell, but you have not obeyed my voice. Now the angel.
Hold on. So I'm just going to stop right there and listen, we're not going to dwell there that long, but I did allow her to go back because, listen, sometimes you have to understand and recognize what's going on. So God allowed them to be taken over by the Midianites because they were in disobedient and they were doing their own things. And if you read up a little bit farther, because I don't think it said that right there, but it says that he allowed it to go on for 7 years. So sometimes, though, you are in a situation, sometimes because you choose to be in that situation, and sometimes it's because he allowed us to be in the situation. Because it's not always that we've done wrong, but what I got you to understand here is God is still there even in the midst of calamity, even in the midst of situations, even when he's allowing the enemy to terrorize you. So, but your job, and we've been talking about resume your position, your job is to make sure that while whatever is going on, whether it be sent from God or allowed by God, that I remain in position to change the outcome, to change the circumstance. It says that he sent the prophet. Why did he send the prophet? Because the people of Israel began to pray, began to cry out. See, so although they had messed up and they had did some things that disappointed God and caused God to turn their hands against them, but they understood that if they turned from their ways and get back in position, they could change what was going on. So I'm trying to say to the mighty church redeemed and anybody that's watching that if you're a saint of God, if you're a part of the body of Christ, I don't care what you're going through today. I don't care what your situation looks like today. But I'm here to let you know that God is sending somebody to change the game. He is sending something to change the outcome. So don't get discouraged because the help is on the way. Go ahead.
Now the angel of the Lord came and sat under the terebinth tree, which was in Ophrah, which belonged to Joash the Abiezrite, while his son Gideon threshed wheat in the winepress, in order to hide it from the Midianites. And the angel of the Lord appeared to him and said to him, "The Lord is with you, you mighty man of valor." Gideon said to him, "O my Lord, if the Lord is with us, why then has all this happened to us?"
Hold on a second. So you understand, first of all, I told y'all on Sunday as we begin to minister, I don't even remember how we got to that. I know how I got the message, but I don't remember how I brought it out. But we're going to deal with the game changer. It's still him telling us to be in position, resume your position. But I told you, even when you're in position, sometimes God has a game changer. See, it's not the ordinary game. It looks like the ordinary game. It looks like the situation is common and it's the routine, but sometimes God has to call in the game changer. And so what we find is that Israel has been doing their thing, and so much so that Gideon, although they were doing their thing, he was not a part of their type of rituals and what they were doing. He was a man of valor, meaning he was a man of respect, meaning he was a man that held fast to serving God. He was a man that chose God and not nobody else. He's a man that stood and kept his character intact. He kept his integrity intact. So what happened is not just him, but if you read up a little bit farther, when they start to tell you about it before the prophet comes, they've been ran out of their land. And so what they've done, a lot of them, they have ran and hid in the hillside. And they created homes in the hillside because they were running for their life and they were looking for protection. Because even though they were ran out of the city, even when they were found in the outer places, if they found them, they came and took it from them. They came and took their goods. So Gideon was over here tending his own business and he was being reserved. But how many of you understand when God is getting ready to use you, when you are a game changer, God doesn't look for somebody that's not working. God doesn't look for somebody that's not prepared. And so although you may not understand what's going on, you may not even know that you're preparing for God to use you. But your job is to be in position. And so we find that Gideon is now told by God, an angel, to go ahead. I'm going to use you to bring them out. Go ahead and finish reading.
Now the angel of the Lord came and said, And the angel of the Lord appeared to him and said to him, the Lord is with you, mighty man of valor. Gideon said to him, O my Lord, if the Lord is with us, why then has all this happened to us? And where are all his miracles which our fathers told us about, saying, did not the Lord bring us up from Egypt? But now the Lord has forsaken us. And
hold on. I like that, and I just want to deal with that a little bit, because sometimes as saints of God, when you're going through and when life is happening and you step into the carnality, other saints and other Christians begin to question who you are, and they begin to question your faith. They begin to tell you, oh, you see that? There you go, you let it. But understand that God understood Gideon. He understood that Gideon had a valid concern. And so listen, I'm here to give you a pass only for a second though. Understand that it's okay to be human, but you can't stay there. It's okay to question, but don't stay there. See, understand that sometimes the question needs to be asked. So when God shows up and gives you instruction, you'll be willing to follow. But if you keep the questions going on and you never deal with your insecurities, then now God will come and try to get you to do something and you'll miss out. Or you'll sabotage the plan. So don't, but the problem is this is what we mess up. You try to go to Sally, you try to go to Johnny, you try to go to watermelon, you go to strawberry, you go to everybody but God. And the thing is they don't have the answer. You have to go back to God. You have to get on your face. You have to tell God your concerns. Listen, if you don't petition and ask God the questions, then listen, first of all, nobody else understood the assignment. Nobody else was told about the assignment. So how are you going to get an answer from somebody that don't even know your assignment? Let me help you out. I know sometimes we go, oh, well, they've been in the faith a long time. And I went to prophet this. I went to missionary this. I went to elder this. I went to whoever. I went to apostle this one and that one. But I'm here to tell you that your assignment So how are they going to tell you somewhere they've never been? Stop leaning to your own understanding and get back in the presence of God. Go ahead.
But now the Lord has forsaken us and delivered us into the hands of the Midianites. Then the Lord turned to him and said, go in this might of yours, and you shall save Israel.
Hold on. I'm going to let you go back to reading. But actually, I got some more stuff. And so I'm going to regress because I was like trying to get you to finish reading so I don't have to come back to reading. But I'm going to regress so that we can progress. Is that okay?
Amen.
And so as I began to prepare, and I told you we're still dealing with the game changer, and I really don't have no fancy title. It's the cross between repositioning yourself to be the game changer. That will be what we title it tonight. Repositioning yourself to be the game changer. And so what happens is, as I was studying and as I was preparing, as I began to say, okay, God, how are we going? Where are we going? I know what I feel in my spirit, but God, what are you saying? So then the question came up in my spirit, because we're talking about changing games. And when I began to minister on Sunday night, I began to tell you how God was saying that a game changer, even David was a game changer. A lot of times we just look at David as over there doing his thing as the field and stuff like that. But then God gave it to us Sunday night. He said, don't you understand, a lot of times when there's a ball game going on and there is something, they're playing basketball or something, but everybody knows your strategy a lot of times. The other team, if they have a good coach, they have watched you, they have looked at your players, they have went and studied the plays that you normally play so that they can have an insight on their opponent. Am I right for all you sports people? So what happens though sometimes out of nowhere, the person that's sitting on the pitch, the person that nobody knows, the person that seems like it's the least likely to be a person of any value, sometimes when the coach sees that he's being defeated and somebody has studied them and they are not prepared though for the secret weapon, which is the game changer. And so what happens is sometime in the middle of the game, which is out of the norm, he hasn't told nobody, he hasn't said anything, but because I'm the coach, because I'm watching out, because I'm seeing things, I'm seeing strategy that you can't see. And see, even as a leader, even as the person that God is calling, sometimes he'll give you strategy and insight that don't make sense to everybody else. Sometimes he'll allow you to tell somebody, but other times he'll allow you to say nothing, so you got to be quiet. But when he's ready to put the game changer in, he'll go and find the game changer. He went over there to David. A lot of times we just talk about, oh, he was over there praising God and this and that in the fields, and that's true. But what God understood is that I'm sick and tired of Saul. And so he says to Samuel, when are you going to get rid of Saul? I'm over him. So now I need you to go down to Jesse's house. Why? Because I got a game changer over there, and I need you to anoint him. No, it's not time for him to come to the game yet. But I need to prepare him because I'm about to change the game today. And so this is what happens now, even with Gideon. God has said, okay, I've allowed y'all to terrorize my people. I've allowed them to be captive. Now it's time for them to become a changer. It's now time for the game to change. So now what needs to happen is now I'm looking for a prepared person. So I'm coming back to where I was regressing. I know y'all thought I forgot. So with that said, as I began to prepare tonight and I began to get dressed, and I was like, Holy Ghost, tell me how we going. And so out of nowhere, my spirit began to say, you know, every person that's a part of the military, they have to go through boot camp. And I was like, what? And so then out of my curiosity, everybody I know has been, wasn't really sure. So of course I went to look it up. And then the question though that really came up, why is it necessary for you to go to boot camp? Is it necessary for you to go to boot camp? But it's necessary for you to go to boot camp. And let me give you some reasons why it's necessary for every person to go to boot camp. First of all, it is a part of the basic training. And what happens there is it's there to prepare you to recruit for all elements, such as your mental, your physical, your emotions. Boot camp deals with everything. And so sometimes why God hasn't been able to call you to where he's taking you, it's because you haven't overcome that mental thing. You haven't overcome what they did to you. You haven't overcome the last time that your prayer didn't get answered the way you thought it should have been answered. You haven't overcome the hurt that y'all like to say church hurt. You haven't overcome what your mama and your daddy and your sister and your brother did. So how can I put you before my people when you haven't dealt with anything? It's necessary to go to boot camp. See, understanding that also one of the things that happens in boot camp, I just told you, it starts to change your perspective. They begin to deal with your mind. They begin to deal with your attitude. They begin to deal with your pride. They begin to tear it down to build it up again. They begin to deal with your low self-esteem. They begin to deal with your thing of not being worthy. But so when I go to boot camp, if I'm up against the enemy, I can't be timid when I get in front of the enemy. I can't be shy when I get in front of the enemy. I can't be afraid when I get in front of the enemy. So I have to make sure that I put you through boot camp in order so that you can stand. I was like, God, He said, yeah. Don't you understand that when they send you through boot camp, they are preparing you, although, and see, the thing is, I like about it, if you're a part of the army, it don't matter. And it's not just the army. If you're a part of the military, it doesn't matter. You have to go through a boot camp. And basically, most times, what happens, each branch has their own boot camp. But basically, what they do in all of them is across the board train you for the job that you may take. They're training you for what you may be up against. They're training you for the time that you spend in the military. I was like, God. He said, don't you understand? It's the basics. It's the basics that's necessary to be able to be elevated. It's the basics that's necessary to be able to lead. It's the basics that's to be able to get you the next rank. It's the basics that you got to go through in order to be successful. It's the basics. I was like, God. He said, yeah. And I kept on looking. And one of the things I just said, it builds courage. It helps you to build and develop courage. A lot of times, and listen, we only look at the 18-year-olds and the 19, and a lot of times we think they're the only ones. But one of the things it says that the military does and what boot camp is necessary for is to mature you. But how many of you understand? I don't care if you go in at 18 or if you go in at 30, you still got to go back through boot camp. Because listen, there is something that's more than likely immature about you. And so listen, I'm here to say, I don't care if you've been saved or if you've been coming to church all your life. But if you just got saved, now you still have to go to boot camp. Let me help you out. Everybody don't have to go back through boot camp if you've already been. But something you learned in boot camp should be there with you for the rest of your term, for the rest of your life. And why I say that, because that is one of the things that the question answered me when I looked it up. It says, does everybody go back to boot camp? No, does everybody have to go back? And it says, no, there is only one exception that you don't have to go back. And you know what that exception is? You already been through it because you were a part of the military, but you decided to take time off and you got out. And so when you come back, or if you change branches, you don't have to go back. But how many of you understand the only reason you don't have to go back is because you've already been there? And so since you've already been there, you should already be thinking like it. You should already be talking the talk. You should already understand the language. But if you've never been there and this is your first time enlisting, then it's necessary to go through boot camp. I don't care who you are. You still have to go through boot camp. Oh, another thing that boot camp does is it conditions you. the task ahead. It conditions you physically, mentally. It conditions you. You should be, listen, if they send you out to war, you have to be able to be sustained. So in boot camp, they have to train you how to be sustained. It disciplines you. It teaches you what you should eat. It teaches you how you should walk. It teaches you how you should act, how you should carry yourself. Yes, carry yourself. Sometimes we look at saints and we be like, how they say? Because you get in the street or you get out in front of people and you get all out of character. You ready to curse somebody out. You ready to show out. You ready to turn the restaurant out. You listen, you need to go back and revisit your boot camp. Because see, in boot camp, you're going to have some push-ups. You're going to have some merits or whatever. And if you can't still get it together, they have no problems kicking you out. So yes. But understand all of this before you go out and get the position, before you're called to the higher position. You have to go through all of this. You have to go through this. And so why am I here? I'm bringing it back into where I'm going with Gideon. But listen, I understand that Gideon had already been preparing, even though he didn't understand and didn't know that he was about to be a game changer. But he had already began to have integrity. He had already refused to serve the other gods. He had already determined that if I got to do this thing by myself, if I got to remain holy, I'll hide and remain holy. And so God can understand and look at his heart and look at his mind and look at his spirit. And he said, I can trust this boy because he's not going to follow what other people follow. But he had been through boot camp. He had been through, and see, the thing is, now God is ready to use you. He wasn't going to forget where he come from. He wasn't going to forget how he got there. He wasn't going to forget the necessary, the understanding, the work ethics. Some of y'all can't get elevated because God understands that you're not, even though you went through boot camp, you flunked it. Some of y'all might need to go back through. I know people don't. But you might need to go back through. Because maybe your attitude is jacked up. Maybe whatever happened, maybe you just passed by a wheel. But sometimes you might need to say, God, restore me. God, show me where I am. God, send me back through the training class or the training part that I need to go back through. Be careful about it, though. Let me help you out. I don't want you to go back and ask and then stuff start happening where God allowed the pressing to start happening, the shaping and the molding, because it's not always fun when you're going through the boot camp. It's not always fun when he's making you and molding you. It's not always fun. It definitely ain't easy. Because even in boot camp, the easiest thing probably is them getting you up at 5 o'clock in the morning and saying you got to be up at a certain time. But what happens after you get up? And to me, that's not easy. I don't want to get up at 5 o'clock. I don't want to go eat right now. I'm not hungry right now. But my daddy said you have to eat when they say eat. If you don't eat when they say eat, you don't eat at all that day. So then now you're forced to fast. Go ahead, Sister Lois.
Then the Lord turned to him and said, go in this might of yours, and you shall save Israel from the hand of the Midianites. Have I not sent you? So he said to him, O my Lord, how can I save Israel? Indeed, my clan is the weakest in Manasseh, and I am the least in my father's house. And the Lord said to him, surely I will be with you, and you shall defeat the Midianites as one man. Then he said to him, if now I have found favor in your sight, then show me a sign that it is you who talk with me. Do not depart from here, I pray, until I come to you and bring out my offering and set it before you. And he said, I will wait until you come back.
And so you can stop right there and go ahead and get ready for 7. Why did I have her to read all of that? Why? Because I'm telling you, when you become the game changer and when he calls you and tell you it's your time to go in, then now it's okay. God is saying, oh, all right, go ahead. But understand, I've already equipped you. I've already given you everything you need. And listen, you may not always have the opportunity to I actually answered the question right now and right then. But listen, understand that somewhere during your training process, I believe God has already put it in place that you can ask the questions needed. Because I told you, sometimes you're sitting on the sideline and you're just a sideline bitch rider, and you're just a person that's riding the bench, but you have the capability, and maybe nobody else sees the capability, but God will put the spotlight on you at the right time, at the appointed time. And so now God needed to work, and so he needed a vessel. And so now he said, Gideon, it's your time. You in. You're in. Can he look at you and say, listen, it's your time. You in. It's your up. Will he have to go through, oh, let me go ahead. They got to get saved. They got to get repentance. They got to go back and learn how to shut their mouth. They got to learn how to have some boldness. Because, see, that's what happens a lot of times. Why you're not chosen. Why? Because you staying busy in catty nets. You're staying busy trying to be a busybody. It's time out for the saints of God being a busybody. Because I told you, God is saying, it's time for you to resume your position. You can't take on the position of beating the enemy when you're in everybody else's business, because you got too much other stuff going on, so you don't have time to pay attention and watch the enemy. You got other stuff that's jacking you up and that's clouding your understanding, that's clouding what God is saying and what he's doing to you and in you and through you. So you have to make sure that, listen, and see, that's part of why they put you in boot camp. You got to get used to it. Do you not know that in boot camp, they don't let you have phone calls? Even in today's society with your own cell phone, they take that from you. Back when my daddy was going, they only had pay phones, so they told you. But I tell you, to understand God true, my God, and then even then, while you're in boot camp, they typically only let you call one person. When my goddaughter enlisted last year, I didn't get to talk to her. Everything that I needed to find out, I had to talk to her mother to find out. And then her mother only got a call on certain days or whatever. So it just happened. And even though they were allowing them to use their phone to call you, but listen, there was somebody right there standing there, and they let them call you. And whatever time limit they gave you, they got you off the phone at that time. They said, okay, your time is up. Give it back. So it's teaching you how to be alone, but yet and still focus. It's teaching you how to not worry about what's going on, because you have a job to do. You have a position to hold. And so what you got to understand is God is saying, now that I can trust you, Gideon, now that I can look at you and see that you haven't allowed what everybody else is getting into, what everybody else is responding. Because see, sometimes when we are in a dry place and situations are going on and there's calamity, we all get all discombobulated and we forget about God, and we start calling, saying, this Johnny, hey, how you doing? How's everything going over at your house? How's it? And listen, I'm not saying don't be calling and being concerned about people. But what I'm saying is, instead of being so concerned about everything that's going on inside, outside, and around side, make time for God. Have you consulted him? Have you went before him? Have you began to talk to him in those situations? Have you begun to say, God, give me the insight. God, show me where to go. God, show me how to pray. God, how does this storm pass over? What's my position in this storm passing over? What's my position in helping the people out? No, you're too busy trying to find out what everybody else doing. Go ahead. Let's go over to
Judges chapter 7.
7 and verse 2.
And the Lord said to Gideon, the people who are with you are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands, lest Israel claim glory for itself against me, saying, my own hand has saved me. Now therefore proclaim in the hearing of the people, saying, whoever is fearful and afraid, let him turn and depart at once from Mount Gilead. And 22,000 of the people returned, and 10,000 remained. But the Lord said to Gideon,
hold on. And I didn't read all of that because there's no way I could read everything that happened from him telling him he was going to do it to him getting up the people, him confirming and asking God to show him proof. But what I understand, even about, we talked about base training and boot camp, and listen, it is necessary, and that was really where I was going. But even in that, let me help you out. So I really didn't know, I really understand what they would say until a couple of people that I knew went through training. So I'm like, okay, once they go to boot camp, they go to their job, they go to work. But how many of you understand it's not that way? Once you finish boot camp, now you have to go and train for the position that you are going into. Now you have to go, they call it ASI trainer, ATI trainer, something like that. But so now you have to prepare. So even while after God had said, listen, Gideon, I'm about to give you this. I'm about to cause you to do this. He then began to give Gideon instructions and began to do some things so that Gideon understood that, yes, this is really me. And now I've trained for the position. Now it's time for me to execute. So now God has allowed me to pick the people. He's allowed me to go and get everybody I thought was going with me. But I just told y'all he's a game changer. God's a game changer. So I just told you how the game is normally played, what makes sense, what makes it look like it should be done this way. When God steps in it, it's always done out of the ordinary. It's always done where a place that you will never think. It's always done in a peculiar way, because see, God will not be identified with your commonality. He won't be identified with everybody else's way of doing it, because he refuses to show his glory. I share his glory. Go ahead.
But the Lord said to Gideon, the people are still too many. Bring them down to the water, and I will test them for you there. Then it will be that of whom I say to you, this one shall go with you. The same shall go with you, and of whomever I say to you, this one shall not go with you, the same shall not go. And so he brought the people down to the water.
Hold on. So first of all, let's go back to the 3, and I want you to still read where you were. But verse 3 says that originally when he returned, that was 22,000. So he had 22,000 people ready to help him go and fight. At least he thought. And he thought that's what God was going to do. And understand that later on, and we're not going to read that, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you. Later on, you're going to find out that the army that they were fighting was even more than that. It was so many till you couldn't even count them.
Jesus.
So, like my 22,000, I feel like, okay, I might be in a good place. But God said, you still got too many. Because, listen, I'm trying to do this. It's too many people for me to get the glory. It's too many, because see, understand why sometimes you have too many people. Because when you get all these people, you got all their doubt, you got all of their isms and schisms, you got all of their opinions. And so God says, no, I cannot use everybody's opinion, because I'm the only opinion that matters. I'm the game changer. Don't matter what you think. It don't matter who you think I should put in. It don't matter who you think is better. I have chosen, and because I've chosen you, I'm going to use you to change the game. I'm going to use you to win the fight. It's not by your will, it's by my will. Go ahead.
So he brought the people down to the water, and the Lord said to Gideon, everyone who laps from the water with his tongue as a dog laps, you shall set apart by himself. Likewise, everyone who gets down on his knees to drink. And the number of those who lapped, putting their hands to their mouth, was 300 men. But all the rest of the people got down on their knees to drink water. Then the Lord said to Gideon, by the 300 men who lapped, I will save you and deliver the Midianites into your hand. Let all the other people go, every man to his place. So the people took provision and their trumpets
Okay, you can stop right there. I just wanted to get down to where God told him with the 300 men, because I'm about to change the game. I'm about to do what seems impossible. I'm about to do what is crazy. I'm about to do what seems like it's out of reach. I'm about to do what your mind cannot wrap around, because I'm a game changer. I'm about to do what has never been done before. I'm about to do the exceedingly, the abundantly more than you could ever think or imagine. What do you mean, Elder Ruth? I'm about to take 300 and I'm about to clear the place. I'm about to take 300 and I'm about to cause your miracle to come forth. I'm about to take 300 and I'm about to restore you back to your favor. Restore you back to your rightful place. Restore your goods back to you. Restore your health. Restore your health. Restore your finances, because I'm a game changer. I'm a game changer. And I've already sent you through the training process, so you already know whether you think you know or not. I've already equipped you with everything you need for this journey. I've already given you the tools. And listen, I stopped her from reading, but all he gave them was some trumpets and some pictures and some voices. And so he's already equipped you. Listen, one of the things he equipped you with was with your natural voice. My Bible says, at your name, demons trembled. He said, I'll hasten your words to perform it. So listen, he's already equipped you. When you came out of your mother's womb and they hit you and you began to cry and scream, he already equipped you with the trumpet that you need. He already equipped you with a tool that you need to shake the heavens, to shake the very foundation. Sometimes you understand why the enemy fighting you so bad, because he already knows who you are before you know who you are. He knows whose you are before he knows who you are. And so sometimes the reason you're going through all the hell and high water is because the enemy understands, if I let her get out of this, if I let him get through her, then there's going to be an issue in my kingdom. There's going to be trouble in my camp. There's going to be damage done to me. But I'm a game changer, so it don't matter no more. When I understand that I changed the game, God has called me to change the game. I don't look at the faces of people. I don't worry about what you think about me no more. I don't care how you feel about me no more. Because if God be for me, then who can be against me? You can talk about me all you want to. You can run, you can lie, you can cheat. But God has got my back. And God is going to change the game. God is going to use me to change the game, whether you like it or not. So you might as well get on board. I promise you, I'm telling y'all, God is up to something in your life and my life. And listen, it's been prophesied in this house, and I promise y'all, the way it looks in here tonight, the way y'all been showing up and not showing up, and I'm not talking about y'all that's been faithful, but I'm saying y'all know we have a whole lot of more members and a whole lot more people that came on Thursday night. And so sometimes when you're in the place that God is saying, are you prepared? He's challenging you to get in position. He's challenging you. What are you going to do? See, but if I'm not in place, then God will move around me and use somebody else. But understand that when it looks like everybody else has left you, when it looks like everybody has went back home, God is saying, I'm going to use the remedy, and I'm about to change the game. I'm about to cause my nation to rise again. I'm about to cause my house to fill up so you can get with the program or get left behind. Because I'm a game changer. It ain't me. I'm telling y'all that's here and that's been hanging in there. Hang on a little bit while. Hang on a little bit more, because God is up to something. I promise you, God is shaking the foundation. I promise you. See, somebody gonna be running in here after a while trying to find God. Somebody gonna be running in here looking for God, because God is letting some stuff happen. Right now they're just basking and chilling, but after a while it's gonna be more than they can handle, and so they're gonna need a place to run. They're going to need a refuge. But the question is will you be in position to help? Will you be in position to be the game changer? I keep telling y'all, God is telling me double. And it seems like the more he's telling me double, the more stuff is going crazy. The more it seems like prices are rising, gas is rising. But listen, I don't care what you're going through right now. I don't care what you're personally facing with right now. Understand, your job is to remain faithful. Your job is to remain true. Your job is to remain in faith. Yeah, you might say, God, I don't understand it. Show me something. God, show me a sign. That's what Gideon did. He said, show me a sign. Let me see a sign. But after he saw the sign, he went back and said, okay, now God, I'm ready. What about you? Are you ready? I don't care what it looks like. Hey, listen, it might look like it's falling apart. It might look like it's crumbling. It might look like you're about to lose it all. But I'm here to challenge you. Stay in the game. I'm here to encourage you. Stay with God. I'm here to encourage you. Don't give up now, because the break is about to happen. You got to understand. You got to prepare as a game changer. That's why I began to talk to God, and we began to deal with the basic training. You got to understand that in order to change the game, sometimes you have to go through some stuff. But at the same time, while you're going through, you got to be prepared. You got to already have something going on. I'm telling y'all, yes, it's a lot of stuff that's going on. It's a lot of issues that's going on. By the way, this is a commercial. I encourage all of y'all, go ahead and get your stuff in order. Go ahead and start preparing. Listen, they've been telling us for a minute now that famine is coming. I don't know if y'all experienced, but I go to the grocery store sometimes and look for some stuff, and it ain't there. It's not there. So I'm going to encourage you to go ahead and get it together. Go ahead and prepare, but don't do it in fear. Because see what happens with the game changer, even when it looks like everything is going crazy, even when it looks like it's about to fold up, even when it looks like everything is about to happen. See, don't you understand that that's your opportunity for God to bring you up? That's the opportunity for God to show up through you. That's the opportunity for God to elevate you. I know y'all don't want to hear that, but sometimes it is. And why you miss it is because you're not prepared. You're not positioned yourself. That's why he said you got to position yourself. Resume. So get back in the watch. Yes, I need to pray. I need to fast. I need to believe. And at the same time, I need to prepare at home. But if I'm praying and fasting and believing, then he'll talk to me and say, you need to go do this and this and this. And I'll be prepared for what's coming. But the reason some of y'all can't prepare because you're not listening to yourself. You're waiting on somebody else and you're relying on somebody else. And listen, it's cool. I'm glad y'all trust myself and overseer. And listen, we're going to tell you everything we know. We're going to teach you everything we know. But outside of that, then God is also trying to get you in a position. He's trying to set you up for something. He's trying to set you up to be the next. He's trying to set you up because he said, listen, don't you understand? The wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. And so listen, but if you're not in position to get the wealth, if you haven't prepared your house, if you haven't prepared your cover, if you haven't prepared yourself in order to employ, go ahead and take the position, then now God can use you. I told you, Gideon and David were able to be used because they had already prepared. So when he got ready to send a game changer, they were in position to change the game. So I'm challenging you. God has been challenging us in these last several messages. He told us to get back in position, resume your position, get back in place. And even in resuming your position, sometimes the resuming of position means you might have to change. I told y'all a couple of times, sometimes it means you have to go low when they are going high. Sometimes you have to go high when they are going low. Sometimes he calls you to remain straight. But whatever way he tells you to go, you need to go. Understand, he will not go against his word, though. He will not go against him and his people, though. I know some of y'all like, what? Yeah. Because some of y'all are like, oh, well, I know I heard from God. She preached it. And God told me to do this and that. You a liar. When you rebelling and you doing your own thing, are you making up your own thing? That is not God. I'm sorry. Somebody might be mad with me. But you better check your motives. You better check what you're saying is God. Because we quick to say God said, and I'm doing what God. No, God is not going to do anything that takes you away from him. He's not going to give you anything that will take you out of his presence and take you out of serving him. Because he's not a God that's an author of confusion. He said he make us rich and out of no sorrow. If I can't get you to be in my presence and pray and spend time with me and serve me, then me getting you, making you rich, then I'm adding sorrow to it. Because as sure as you stay away from me and you stop spending time with me, you're going to get dry. And if you're not careful, you're going to be backslidden. So don't get it twisted when I say God is saying prepare and God is telling you to do some stuff. You better know, and I'm sure it's in the Bible somewhere, but I'm going to say it the way my mama them said. I know it is. I have heard it in the Bible. I just don't know where it is right now. I got to study it a little bit more. But my Bible says, try the Spirit by the Spirit and see if it's God. So if you feel like, you better try this by God. You better try this spirit that's keeping you separated. You better try this spirit that's keeping you out of the house of God. You better try this spirit that's saying it don't take all of that. You better try this spirit that's telling you, I'm saved and I got it. And let me help you. Let me go ahead and make a mess right here. All you people that started standing out because of COVID and you say, I can watch it on TV, and the lies that the men and women of God begin to say, you don't have to come to church because the church is not in the building. It's in you. And that part is true to understand. But even at that, he said, forget not to assemble yourself. And listen, he said, from strength to strength, you gain strength. So he never said for you to not do it. And so all y'all that's following that and y'all lying to yourself, because a lot of churches have gone back in. But y'all people haven't returned because y'all gave them too much time off. And so now you want to act like you want to get that. No. Yes, you should pray. Yes, you should do it at home by yourself. But what you got to understand is there is faith and there's strength in unity. Even if you got to run and hide out somewhere, you should have been having church. Listen, when they were after Peter and they had captured Peter, they didn't go to the sanctuary, but my Bible said that Peter was in jail and the saints gathered together at the house and they began to pray and they began to fast and they began to call on Jesus. And before they knew it, Peter was knocking on the door because they didn't forsake to assemble themselves. Y'all around here hiding out, but you hiding out in fear. You hiding out and you're not doing that much praying. Ooh, and I feel like making a mess. I'm finna make a mess. I'm finna make a real big mess. Y'all still gonna love me redeemed? Because somebody watching me on live, and I don't care though at this point. Because see, I'm about to make a real big mess. Listen, if you were with a pastor that ran and hid, and they've been out of church, and they just came back, and some of them still not there, you might want to check your covering. You might want to go and say, God, are you sure this is my shepherd? Because how can my shepherd watch for me when they run it and they hide it? Because you leaving me to the wolves. I don't need no whippy shepherd. The wolf's coming for me and you running, but you're supposed to be protecting me. I need you to stand guard. I need you to be in position to take down the enemy. But you allow the enemy to come in and sabotage me. I need to go. You better run. You better run. I'm not telling you to just run on your own. You better seek God. Well, you better seek God while he can be found, but you better run. You better say, God, show me. God, teach me. God, prepare me. God, listen, if there's no shepherd in where you are, because or that will watch me. You better ask God, God, if you got to raise up a shepherd for me, God, I need you to raise up a shepherd. God, I need somebody that's going to watch for my soul, that's going to watch for my mind, that's going to teach me and lead me. And some of y'all, they stayed in church, but they lead you to hell anyway. Everything don't go in church. Sometimes, listen, that's the thing. Y'all worry. Listen, he did say he was going to allow that blood to be required at their hand. But he never said that he was not going to allow you to suffer your own consequences either. So listen, you better take hold to your own self and say, God, am I in the right position? God, I don't have a shepherd that's really real. So God, before you allow me to die and be sabotaged, God, show me, lead me, guide me. Let me help y'all out right there, because I ain't giving nobody no pass. Because some of y'all be like, that's why I'm my own, because that's the new thing now. That's the new thing now. Oh, God called me. I don't have to be in no house. I don't know. I'm my own shepherd. My husband is my head. And you about to go to hell talking about your husband is your head. The head of the house is this and that. And y'all ain't going to nobody church. Y'all ain't serving God in no kind of way. And yeah, sometimes y'all might have a little singing at home and you might read the scripture. But my Bible says, how can they hear unless they have a preacher? It's time out for us going along with foolishness. It's time out. Because your shepherd is meant to correct you, to challenge you, to hold you accountable, to listen, call out your junk, call out your mess, call out what's wrong. And listen, if you don't have a shepherd that's calling that stuff out and they letting you do it and they passing you by because you pay tithes, because you come on Sunday, because you their praise and worship leader and they don't want to leave you, I need you to know you better run. You better run and don't look back, because God is getting serious. God is ready, and he's soon to come whether you like it or not. I don't know. I wasn't trying to go this hard. It's a game-changing anointing, though. And so some of y'all better get yourself together. You better do inventory. You better check yourself. And even some of y'all that are in the house and that are in houses that challenge you, you hang out and you say, oh, that ain't go again. You better get in obedience and stop being a stubborn stiff neck. You better stop being it's a sheep, a goat. You better stop being a go bad. You bucking every system that the man and woman of God is calling. You saying, oh, he called me too. I got to call. Who do they think they are? You better come back to your first love. Come back to the place of submission. Come back. Because listen, if you listen, you're going to have to stand up against a lot of people. But let me help y'all out. Let me help y'all out. Y'all think y'all going to heaven anyhow. But my Bible says that Jesus came as a servant. Even so much so, till Peter said, Father, you can't wash my feet. And he said, if I wash your feet, you won't have no part in me. Why? Because I'm a servant first. Yes, I'm the man of God. Yes, I'm over you. But if you can't humble it, come down and serve me as a part of your flow, then there is something wrong with your Holy Ghost. If you can't serve like you used to serve, there's something wrong with your Holy Ghost. I know you got in a position. I know you've been ordained. I know you the deaconess, the mother. I know you the missionary and the elder. But if you can't pick up the paper when you see it on the floor and it's in God's house, then God might just have a problem with you. Because see, your hands are too high. You don't got too high and too lifted up in your own self. Y'all saying this is good, but I promise y'all I didn't come out here with none of this. This is straight from on high. But I believe God is doing something. He is shaking up some things. We've been telling him to shake. He's shaking up who you are. Because see, he got a people that's out there that's hurting. He got a people that's out there that needs to be saved. But he got to get you together. So when you come in, when they come in, they don't see you acting out out of character. They don't see you cutting the monkey. They don't see you. And then now they have a bad experience. And now they think all church people are like that. And let me help you. Yeah, the pastor is going to be accounted, but you're going to be accounted for some people's soul because of your attitude and how you handle stuff. And so they saw you, and then now they got contaminated, and they backslide, and they go to hell, and God's going to judge you accordingly. A lot of times we think it's just the pastors. But let me help you out. Why I say that? Because he said, I won't do nothing that will cause somebody else to stumble. And I know I'm not quoting it correctly, but that is scripture. So you can holler about I'm not the leader, I'm not the pastor, I'm just the deaconess, I'm just the mother, I'm just the usher. Okay. I'm just the choir president. Okay. God sent somebody in that's hurting and broke and needs somebody to love them, and they need to see somebody that's real. They need to see somebody that, listen, I'm really making a mess. They need to see somebody that somebody else, Sister Susie, talked about you, and they know they talked about you, and they know they lied on you, but they need to see you still be godly and love Sister Susie. Do good to those that despitefully use you. Bump you know what you feeling. Oh, yeah. Because it's training them how to take some stuff. If you're going to follow him, you got to take some stuff. He said, take up your cross and follow me. What is a cross? A cross is painful. A cross means there is hurt. A cross means there's disappointment. A cross means they misuse you. They mishandle you. They beat you even when you don't deserve to be beat. Time for you to get outside of your feelings and yourself so that somebody else can be helped. Sometimes you go through some stuff so you can help somebody else. And I know you don't like it, and I don't either. Well, Lord, let me help them another way. Don't let me have to go through. But at the same time, it's not always so that he can help somebody else. He's trying to get some junk out of you. He's trying to get the foolishness out of you. I just told y'all part of the basic training. The real thing is they talk to them nasty. They get in your face. They spit on you. They do a lot of stuff. And I'm not saying they necessarily spit on you, but they spit on you sometimes when they yelling at you. I've never been through basic training. But let me help you out. I had a course teacher. If I ain't learned nothing else, I learned you gotta sing with some tenacity. I'm in middle school. What? What is that? And the problem wasn't so much the word. You in my face and your breath stink. And you spitting. So I'm saying to you, sometimes things happen and God is letting them come in your face because are you going to be a good singer? Are you going to be able to hold? Are you going to be able to carry? Are you going to be able to do what's needed for the army? Are you going to be able to be a part? Will you be chosen? I can tell you I was chosen. I didn't want, listen, I didn't like staying after school. I didn't like him getting in my face. My first year, I signed up. I was like, okay, I'll do course. The next year, I was like, I'm getting this far away from course. I don't want to be in course. I get there on the first day of school to find out on my schedule course is there. I don't want to be.
It's time. Prepare for the 2023 Prophetic Revival going on Sunday, February 19th through Friday, February the 24th with guest speakers, Prophetess Ruth Washington from Jacksonville, Florida.
God has made a declaration over your life and they can't kill your promise.
Prophet Kervin Diondene from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
You will live and not die. And Tom said, I will make your next greater. And no devil can bring you down.
Prophetess Shay Hall Green from Brunswick, Georgia.
Whenever you get knowledge, what happens is now that thing makes room for you. Somebody say, make room for me.
and Prophetess Samantha Bynum from Chicago, Illinois.
That was the moment he began to dance because the ark was coming back. He began to dance because the glory was coming home. He began to dance, my God, in celebration.
The theme is prophetic glory, and the experience will be life-changing. Admission is free, so make plans to join us February 19th through the 24th. Whatever you need from God, it's in the glory.